Hello everybody, it's Mike Paterson here at White Turtle Adventures, and I'm in White Turtle number 3 here in Southern Alberta, Canada. So for my first of my redo series, shall we say, where I go a bit more in depth, I'm going to touch on something that raised a lot of issues on a number of sites, and in fact just today I saw a whole pile of misinformation on a whole number of sites about this, and that is picking your van. Now, everybody has different opinions. It's like Ford versus Chevy. It's like Ford versus GMC, GMC versus a Tesla, whatever you want. When it comes to a vehicle, everybody has different ideas, different needs, different wants, and everybody has their own opinions. So I thought I would address a little bit about, first of all, my van and why I have the van that I have. So when I was looking into van life, I looked at already pre-built vans, and I really didn't like what they had for chassis. Some of them, the engines were issues. Some of them, they didn't have enough weight ratio to be able to carry stuff, and so on and so forth. So I decided, instead of buying a pre-made van, that I would actually make my own. So that allowed me a little bit more opportunity to research base vans and not have all this stuff already inside of it. All right, so a little bit about my van. When I originally started looking for a van, my dream van was a Dodge Sprinter. Unfortunately, a lot of the good things about Dodges, about the Mercedes actually, Sprinter that you hear, are from people who own a European model. The European and North American versions are complete different animals. They are completely different. They built, they stand up better, so on and so forth. I did not know this. My dream was a Sprinter, and when I was about to buy my Sprinter, I was on a forum and we were chatting back and forth about vehicles to buy, and a gentleman contacted me off the forum itself and gave me some information on the Sprinter vans. He's a mechanic, he works on the Sprinters, and he knows them inside and out. And he gave me price breakdowns, gave me reliability, he gave me everything you could imagine about a Sprinter that you want to know. How they rust out, the problems with the transmissions, the problems with engines, the price of oil changes. You name it, this gentleman was nice enough to share with me. After reading it and after taking his opinions into account, I did more research. And I found that when I did that research, that he was 100% correct, and that the Sprinter was not for me. Now, one of the big reasons that it's not for me is the fact, if I buy a new Sprinter, the closest dealer to me, to where my home base is 3 hours away. If there's any issue with the van in warranty period, I am required by warranty to take it to the dealer 3 hours away. The local Dodge dealer would not touch the warranty, and they had nothing to do with the van. Like they said, it may be a Dodge Sprinter, it may be a Mercedes Sprinter, but everything goes to the dealer that is further away. So I was stuck in that area. The other thing that really scared me was the reliability. Now, I know many people have the Sprinter, and I know many people love it, but I know even more people who have had issues with it. Just the other day on one of the forums, a lady put a post up that it was going to cost her upwards of $20,000 for an engine repair. Now, I think that she was being overly charged on that, but at the same time, I've heard that from a lot of people. So then I looked at the Dodge Promaster. And the Dodge Promaster had a lot of benefits to me. It was a bit wider of a van for me sleeping. I could sleep across the back, and I would have enough space from end to end without doing anything at the back to sleep like that. And it had a few other benefits that I liked. On the same forum, I was contacted by a gentleman who's actually a fleet person who looks after the fleet of a very large company in the U.S. He says they have over 2,000 of the Dodge Promasters in their fleet, and he gave me all the issues that they have with them. And his recommendation was, don't look at the Ford. So I did some work and looked at the Ford, and I did all my due diligence. I contacted a bunch of people, and the Ford came out to me to be the best vehicle around. Now, does it have issues? It has some issues. Does it fill all the boxes and does it do everything that I want it to do? Pretty much, with a few small things that I can live with. The biggest thing that I can live with is it's a little bit narrow of a van, but for me, for driving like I do, and I drive more than I actually camp, the smaller van actually works better for me. I have to sleep on an angle in my bed, but for me that works. I can do build-outs in the van, and I may do this in the future, where I can get an extra couple inches on each side, which would give me enough room to sleep. But as it is now, it works for me. So I ended up buying a Ford Transit EcoBoost engine. It's a 2017. It's a medium roof and 148-inch wheelbase. Now, the medium roof. This is a huge thing that people ask me about. Why did I go with a medium roof van over a low roof or over a high roof? First of all, that's why I'm standing like I am standing here. A medium roof van actually works very well for me. There is still headroom, and even if I stand up as high as I possibly can stand and push myself up, my head is just touching the roof. Now, what's this roof? This roof is fully insulated. It has a 1/8-inch Baltic birch that is up here in the wood, and it is covered by some carpeting. These straps that you see in front of it are just more for finishing, not so much to hold anything up, because there are bolts underneath that actually hold this piece up. But this is a 1/4-inch oak. Now, with all of that, and even when I walk down to the different areas, I am fine. So whether I go to the side or what I do, I am perfectly fine for being in this height of a van. If you're taller than me and you want to stand up, you probably won't want to go with a medium roof. But for me, it's perfect. Why did I not go with a low roof? Well, I've told people this before, and that I have a lung disease, and sometimes I start coughing. And when I start coughing, if I can't stand up and actually cough, I actually hurt myself. So I didn't want a vehicle that the roof was low and that I couldn't actually stand up and stretch and actually be able to cough properly. Now, I've stayed in smaller vehicles. I've camped in the back of my pickup truck. I've camped in station wagons. I've slept in cars and so on and so forth. And all I do in those cases is I would get out of the vehicle so I could stand up, and that was fine. But when it's 40 below, it's nice to be able to stand up in the vehicle. It's nice to be able to get dressed while you're standing up, and it works perfect for me. Do I think that you should buy a van that you can't stand up in? Well, it depends what you're going to use it for. If you're looking at living in a van full time, I would strongly suggest to get the highest roof you can get so that you can stand up. Why? Because this is one of those van life lies that people tell you, and that you don't need to be able to stand up in your van. Yes, you do. When it is really cold outside, when it's really buggy outside, when it's really hot outside or cold outside, when whatever it is, when it's raining outside, when it's windy, it is so nice if you're living in your van full time that you're able to stand up, to get dressed, to wash, to make supper, so on and so forth. Imagine being hunched over for 8 hours in a day. To me, that's a big no. Now, can you do it? You can do it, but I would not suggest if you're full-timing it that you try it, because you're going to find sooner or later that it's going to become a real pain. That is actually one of the things that I've seen online lately a lot of people complain about. I moved to a van because I didn't have enough space to stand up. I moved from a trailer because my trailer was too small. They would have one of these teardrop trailers, the really small ones, and that they couldn't stand up in it, and they went to a van because they could stand up. People went from having a low roof van to high roof van for exactly that same reason. Other people went from a van to a bus because they needed more room. So I would strongly look at getting a vehicle that is tall enough for you to stand up in if you're planning on full timing it. So that's a little bit about my van. I'll try to touch on a little bit more in the next few videos. But until then, have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon.